My wife's male work best friend bought the house next door. 3 weeks later, he knocked on our door and asked to speak to both of us. He was nervous, fidgeting with his hands. Then he said the words that made my wife go pale. "I need to tell you something. My girlfriend is pregnant. We're having a baby." My wife's face drained of color. She grabbed my arm. But before I could process what was happening, he continued, "And I need your advice, because the baby isn't mine. She told me last night. She's been having an affair for 6 months. With someone at her office. Someone married." He pulled out his phone and showed us a photo. My wife made a sound I'd never heard before. Because the man in that photo was me. Hey everyone, I'm David Martinez, I'm 38 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most devastating, complicated, and ultimately life-altering story about betrayal, mistaken identity, and the moment I discovered that my entire life had been built on someone else's lies. This happened 3 months ago, and I'm still processing the absolute destruction it caused. So settle in, because this story has more turns than anyone could predict. Let me start from the beginning. I've been married to my wife, Christina, for 8 years. We met in college, dated for 4 years, got married at 26. She's a marketing executive at a large pharmaceutical company. I'm a civil engineer for the city. We have what I thought was a solid marriage. No kids yet, we've been trying for 2 years without success. It's been stressful, but we've been handling it together. Or so I thought. About 6 months ago, Christina started talking about her new coworker, James Porter. "James is amazing," she'd say. "He really gets the work. We're collaborating on the Patterson account. James suggested this great restaurant for the client dinner. James and I stayed late to finish the presentation. I wasn't immediately concerned. Christina had work friends. It was normal. But James's name came up a lot. Multiple times a day. At dinner. Before bed. During weekend conversations. Do you have a crush on this James guy? I joked once. Don't be ridiculous, she laughed. He's just a good colleague. We work well together. Is he single? He has a girlfriend. Rachel. She works in biotech or something. That should have been the end of it. But James kept coming up. Photos from work events where James was prominently featured. Stories about James's clever solutions to work problems. Mentions of James's opinions on everything from office politics to restaurant recommendations. I started to feel uneasy. Not jealous exactly, just unsettled. Then, 2 months ago, Christina came home with news. You'll never believe what happened. James bought a house. That's great. David, he bought the Hendersons' house. Next door. The house next door had been on the market for 3 months. The Hendersons, an elderly couple, had moved to a retirement community in Florida. Their house was a beautiful colonial-style home with a large yard. James bought it? Our neighbor James? Isn't it perfect? His girlfriend Rachel works nearby, and he loves our neighborhood. He said I talked about how great it is, so they decided to look here. They close in 2 weeks. My unease turned into something stronger. My wife's work best friend was buying the house next door. The house that shared our fence line. The house where I'd see him constantly. Don't you think that's a little weird? I asked. Weird how? Your coworker becoming our neighbor? I think it's great. We'll have friends right next door. James is wonderful. You'll love him when you meet him. I hadn't met James yet. Despite all the talk, despite the constant mentions, I'd never actually been introduced to this man who was apparently such a huge part of my wife's professional life. 2 weeks later, James and his girlfriend Rachel moved in. Christina baked cookies and went over to welcome them. She came back an hour later, glowing. They're settling in. James wants to have us over for dinner once they're unpacked. You'll finally get to meet him. I still hadn't met him. He was working when they moved in. Christina had helped Rachel unpack some boxes. She'd spent 3 hours next door. The dinner invitation came a week later. Saturday night. I finally met James Porter. He was 35, tall, athletic build, friendly smile. Seemed like a genuinely nice guy. His girlfriend Rachel was 32, pretty, worked as a biotech researcher. They'd been together for 3 years. Dinner was pleasant. Normal conversation about the neighborhood, their jobs, the house renovation plans. James was charming, funny, attentive to Rachel. Christina laughed at all his jokes, but not in a flirtatious way. Just friendly. I relaxed a bit. Maybe I'd been overthinking it. Maybe James was just a good colleague and now a friendly neighbor. But over the next few weeks, I noticed things. Christina would run next door for coffee with Rachel. These coffee visits often lasted 2 hours. James would come over to borrow tools and end up chatting with Christina in the kitchen for an hour while I was upstairs working. They'd do yard work at the same time, chatting over the fence. Christina started dressing nicer on days she knew James would be home. I tried to ignore it. Tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. They were neighbors. They were colleagues. It was natural to be friendly. Then came 3 weeks ago. It was a Saturday morning. I was making breakfast when there was a knock on the door. James. He looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes. Unshaven. Clearly hadn't slept. Hey, James. Everything okay? Can I talk to you and Christina? Both of you? It's important. Sure, come in. Christina came downstairs. James. What's wrong? We sat in the living room. James was fidgeting, nervous energy radiating off him. I need to tell you something. I need advice. Or maybe just. I don't know. I need to talk to someone. What's going on? Christina asked, concerned. Rachel's pregnant. Christina's face lit up. Oh my God. That's wonderful. Congratulations. But James didn't look happy. It's not wonderful. Rachel told me last night. She's 12 weeks along. And. He took a deep breath. The baby isn't mine. Silence. What? I asked. She's been having an affair. For 6 months. With someone from her work. Someone married. Christina grabbed my arm. Her grip was tight. Too tight. She told you this? Christina asked, her voice strange. Last night. She broke down. Said she couldn't keep lying. She's in love with him. She wants to be with him. She's leaving me. James, I'm so sorry, I said. That's devastating. There's more. He pulled out his phone. She showed me photos. Of them together. She's been documenting their relationship like it's something to be proud of. He swiped through his phone. I thought you should know, David. Because the man she's been having an affair with. It's someone you know. He turned the phone to show me a photo. It was a picture of Rachel with a man. They were at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. The man was smiling at her with obvious affection. The man looked exactly like me. Same hair. Same build. Same facial features. Same style of glasses. But it wasn't me. That's not me, I said immediately. Christina made a sound. A strangled gasp. Her grip on my arm tightened painfully. What? James looked confused. But that's, I thought. That's not David, Christina whispered. That's Alex. Who's Alex? James and I asked simultaneously. Christina's face was white. She was shaking. Alex Martinez. David's twin brother. The room went silent. I stared at my wife. My what? Your twin brother. Christina, I don't have a twin brother. I'm an only child. You know this. She was crying now. You're not an only child. You have a twin brother. Alex. You were separated at birth. Adopted by different families. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath me. What are you talking about? I found out 2 years ago. I hired a private investigator to look into your family history. For the fertility issues. To see if there were genetic factors. And I discovered you were a twin. You were both put up for adoption at birth. Different families took you. And you never told me? I didn't know how. I was going to tell you, but then we started focusing on fertility treatments and it never seemed like the right time. And you've known for 2 years that I have a twin brother and you never mentioned it? James was looking between us, confused. So this isn't David? No, Christina sobbed. That's Alex. David's identical twin. How do you know what my supposed twin brother looks like? I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. Christina couldn't meet my eyes. Christina. How do you know what Alex looks like? I found him. After I discovered he existed. I looked him up. He lives in the city. He works at Rachel's biotech company. The pieces were clicking together. You knew Rachel's affair partner was my twin brother. I suspected. When James said Rachel was seeing someone married from her work. I knew Alex works there. I didn't know for sure until I saw the photo. James was staring at his phone, looking at the photo again. This man and David are identical. They're identical twins, Christina confirmed. I stood up. I needed space. I needed air. You've known I have a twin brother for 2 years. And when you suspected he was having an affair with our neighbor's girlfriend, you said nothing. I didn't know for sure. You could have mentioned, hey David, by the way, you have a twin brother and I think he might be sleeping with Rachel. I was going to tell you. When? I shouted. When were you going to tell me I have a brother? After we met at his fucking wedding? James stood up. I should go. This is clearly a family issue. No, I said. Stay. You came here for advice about Rachel's affair. Let's talk about it. Because apparently everyone in this room knew more about my own life than I did. James sat back down reluctantly. I turned to Christina. How much do you know about Alex? Not much. I found his name, his address, where he works. I saw photos online. I thought about contacting him. Telling you. But I didn't know how. So you just kept this massive secret for 2 years. I was trying to protect you. From what? From knowing I have family? From being hurt. Your parents, your adopted parents, they never told you about Alex. I didn't want to disrupt your relationship with them by revealing their secret. That wasn't your decision to make. James cleared his throat. I hate to interrupt, but if this Alex is David's twin, and he's having an affair with Rachel, what do we do? Good question. What did we do? I had a twin brother I'd never met, who looked exactly like me, who was having an affair with my neighbor's girlfriend, who was about to become a father. I need to meet him, I said. David, Christina started. I need to meet my brother. Where does he work? James pulled up the photo again. According to Rachel, he's a senior researcher at Helix Biosciences. His name is Dr. Alex Martinez. He's apparently brilliant. Rising star in genetic research. The irony wasn't lost on me. My twin brother was a genetic researcher. I'm going to his office on Monday. David, maybe you should think about this, Christina tried. I've had 2 years to think about this. I just didn't know I should be thinking about it because my wife kept it secret. Monday, I'm meeting my brother. James looked uncomfortable. Should I come? Since he's, involved with Rachel? No. This is between me and Alex. But James, you should decide what you're going to do about Rachel. I already decided. I'm leaving her. The house is in both our names, but I'm talking to a lawyer Monday. I want out. I'm sorry, man. This is a shit situation. Yeah, he said, standing up. I'm sorry you got dragged into it. And I'm sorry about the twin brother thing. I can't even imagine. He left. Christina and I stood in our living room, the weight of secrets crushing the space between us. I'm sleeping in the guest room, I said. We'll talk more later. But right now, I need to process this. David, please, you kept my brother from me for 2 years, Christina. That's not something I can forgive quickly. I went upstairs. Lay on the guest bed. Stared at the ceiling. I had a twin brother. A brother who looked exactly like me. A brother my wife had known about and never mentioned. A brother who was having an affair and about to become a father. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. Drove to Helix Biosciences. Asked for Dr. Alex Martinez. The receptionist called his office. Can I ask who's here to see him? Tell him David Martinez is here. It's about his personal life. 5 minutes later, a man walked into the lobby. It was like looking in a mirror. Identical face, identical build, identical everything. Except he had a beard, and his style was different, more casual, academic. He stopped when he saw me. Went completely pale. What the? Hi, Alex. I'm David. Your twin brother. We went to a coffee shop nearby. Sat across from each other in silence for a solid minute, just staring. Finally, Alex spoke. I knew you existed. I found out when I was 25. Did genetic research for a paper I was writing and discovered I was a twin. I've been looking for you ever since. I found out 3 days ago. From my wife. Who knew for 2 years and never told me. Jesus. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's fucked up. It is. But I'm here now. So let's talk. Starting with Rachel. His face changed. Guilty. Ashamed. You know about Rachel. Her boyfriend James bought the house next door to mine. He came over Saturday in tears because she's pregnant and admitted the baby is yours. Alex put his head in his hands. I'm an idiot. You're having an affair with a woman who has a boyfriend. Yeah, you're an idiot. I know. It started 6 months ago. Office party. We both had too much to drink. One thing led to another. We agreed it was a mistake and wouldn't happen again. But it did. It did. And then it kept happening. And then I fell in love with her. And she said she loved me. And I convinced myself we'd figure it out. That she'd leave James and we'd be together. And now she's pregnant. And I'm terrified. Because I'm going to be a father, but I destroyed someone else's relationship to get here. James is a good guy, I said. He didn't deserve this. I know. I've never even met him. Rachel kept us completely separate. I knew he existed, but she said their relationship was ending anyway. That she was with him out of convenience. She lied. They seemed happy. Alex looked miserable. I'm the worst kind of person. You're my brother. And you're about to be a father. So we need to figure this out. Why would you help me? Because you're my brother. Because we've been kept apart our entire lives by circumstances beyond our control. And because maybe something good can come out of this mess. We talked for 3 hours. About our childhoods, our adoptive families, our lives. The similarities were eerie, same mannerisms, same speech patterns, same sense of humor. But our paths had been completely different. Alex had been adopted by wealthy parents. Private schools, Ivy League education, privileged upbringing. I've been adopted by middle-class parents. Public schools, state university, normal suburban life. Do you resent your parents for not telling you? Alex asked. I don't know yet. I'm still processing. Do you? Every day. They knew I had a twin. They chose not to tell me. They let me grow up thinking I was alone. We should meet them. All of them. Figure out why. Agreed. But first, you need to deal with Rachel. James is filing for separation. She needs to move out. Where's she going to go? With me, I guess. If she wants. I have an apartment downtown. And the baby. I want to be involved. I'm terrified, but I want to be a father. I just wish it hadn't happened like this. We exchanged numbers. Promised to stay in touch. Started building the relationship we should have had from birth. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. Rachel moved out of James's house. Moved in with Alex. James filed for separation and started therapy. Christina and I went to marriage counseling. The secret she kept had damaged our trust fundamentally. Why didn't you tell me? I asked in session after session. I was scared. Scared it would change things. Scared you'd be angry at your parents. Scared you'd want to find him and leave me behind. So you made the decision for me. I was wrong. I see that now. We're still in counseling. I don't know if we'll make it. The secret was too big, kept too long. But Alex and I? We're building something. A brotherhood that should have existed all along. His daughter, my niece, was born 2 months ago. Beautiful, healthy, perfect. I was there at the hospital. Held her minutes after she was born. Felt a connection to family I'd never experienced before. My parents, my adoptive parents, finally told me the truth. They'd known about Alex. Had chosen not to pursue dual adoption because of financial constraints. Had decided never to tell me to avoid confusion. We thought we were protecting you, my mother said. You were protecting yourselves, I replied. Our relationship is strained now. Maybe permanently. Alex's parents admitted the same. They'd known. They'd chosen silence. Both sets of parents are meeting their granddaughter next week. It'll be the first time they've been in the same room in 38 years. James has been surprisingly gracious. He met Alex once, briefly. I can't blame you for looking like David, he said. But I can blame you for the affair. Don't do that to someone again. I won't, Alex promised. Christina and Alex have a weird relationship now. She knew about him before anyone. She kept the secret that changed everything. I'm sorry, she told him once. I should have told David immediately. Yeah, Alex agreed. You should have. Rachel and I avoid each other. She's ashamed. I represent everything she destroyed. But my niece? She's innocent in all this. And she's given me something I never thought I'd have, family beyond my strained marriage and disappointed parents. I have a brother. A twin. Someone who shares my DNA, my face, my mannerisms. We're making up for lost time. Weekly dinners. Weekend hangouts. Building the brotherhood we should have had from the start. Ain't Christina? We're trying. But trust, once broken, doesn't heal quickly. She kept my brother from me. Whether we survive that remains to be seen. But I survived finding out that my life wasn't what I thought it was. I survived meeting the brother I never knew existed. I survived watching him navigate fatherhood with the woman who destroyed our neighbor's relationship. And I'm learning that family, real family, isn't about who raised you or who shares your address. It's about who shows up. Who stays. Who tells the truth. Alex showed up. James showed up. Even Rachel, in her flawed way, showed up. Christina kept secrets. And secrets, I've learned, destroy more than truth ever could.